Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report.
Really? Oh, wait, really? The Jesse Blake Sports Report. That's it?
Don't forget, it's the Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
That's kind of redundant.
Dude, is there a problem?
No, it's fine. I just, I thought maybe you guys would come up with something, good.
Man, just read it.
You know what? Doesn't matter to me. I get paid by the word. Let's do this.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake. Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's sportsbook.
Adam, I've been working on a tagline that I think is really effective.
Okay.
Doer, go to doer.ca. Because it has do.
No, I know it doesn't work.
It kind of works.
It doesn't work at all, but doer.ca works great.
Doer.ca does work.
It does.
Great. And you can use the promo code SDPN for 15% off of your purchase, where you can find the world's softest pants.
The best pants. Like, we're talking about jeans that stretch and that are amazing. The t-shirts fit great, and there's so many, especially for summer, like activewear and stuff. All great prices. Check it out.
And you said they fit your hockey legs.
Yes, they do.
so
that is rare.
That's doer.ca, DUER.ca, and then use the promo code SDPN. You'll get 15% off of your purchase. Adam Wilde, I want to shout out Michael. Michael on Twitter wrote, I hope you guys start doing this for the rest of the races this season and beyond. And Michael, you know what? No.
Not yet, anyway.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It's a lot.
And you know what? We are not in the business of working hard.
A little allergic to that.
Yeah.
No, I think, one day we'd love to have more F1 content, I think, on SDPN, but it's just a matter of, how much time do you really have in the day?
Right. But I appreciate everybody who wrote back about our preview on Friday and was very happy with it and enjoyed it. We appreciate you. And yeah, here's your recap of the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. Yeah, we will try to get more of these out during the summer, but not gonna be every race. But we'll get more of these going. Adam, takeaways. Max wins. The battle with him and Sainz for the last 5-10 laps there. That was the real kind of adventure for the whole race.
Max with no radio,
holding off Sainz, doing an excellent job. Credit where credit's due. There was a lot of portions there where Sainz had the faster car, but Max just terrific driving there. And the better pit strategy on the virtual safety car that Red Bull had, holding off Sainz. What were your takeaways from the race?
Well, I think what was amazing is it was good to see, Red Bull won. Ferrari had a great day. You have Charles Leclerc taking a 10 spot penalty. He comes from 19th and he finishes in 5th. Just shows you how great that Ferrari car really is. It's a spectacular car when it finishes. Mm-hmm. And Carlos Sainz he's got all the talent in the world. He's got one of the best cars in the sport, and he has had zero luck. And it's so weird, right? He came up through the Red Bull system. He raced for Renault for a while. He raced for McLaren. Now he's racing for Ferrari. He's gone through these great systems, and he's finally got the car that he needs, right? So it was nice to see him up there. I mean, if you're betting it against Max Verstappen at this point, I don't know why. It's kind of, unless I don't understand. Explain that to me. Red Bull's got the car. They figured out whatever the early season issues are. But I thought, the battle was nice. It's nice to see someone pushing Max. Mm-hmm. If they're not going to beat him, it's nice to push him.
I'm going to tell you why I think it's an okay thing if you want to bet on Ferrari and against Red Bull.
Okay. Constructors?
In the constructors and overall in these races. One of the Red Bull drivers didn't finish the race. Checo was out because of engine troubles. It was the transmission. Yeah. The car doesn't work all of the time, and I think if you're looking towards Red Bull, they have to straighten those things out, because they do have, I believe it's 4 now DNFs where their drivers didn't finish the race, mm-hmm. and I don't think it's going to be a close race for the rest of the season in terms of the drivers' championship. But there is the possibility each time they go out that one of their cars fails.
Well, and that's why you race.
Yeah, that is why you race.
You race because it's, and I think I feel bad for Checo because he's had such a great season, but a race like that would have mattered to him because he in his own mind, and this is how a competitor would have to think. He wants to be like, I want to push Max. I want to see if I can beat him. I want to at least see if I can make it interesting. And there's been a huge swing. Ferrari came out on top first 3 races of the year. We're now 6 in, and there's like been a 90-point swing. It's not good in terms of, you talked about Honda and you talked about Red Bull and what they've done there. I think those are execution issues. But the thing is, yes, they've got execution issues like a transmission to figure out. Ferrari's been worse when it comes to that. They've made more mistakes.
Yeah.
So it's all you're grading on a curve here, right?
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned like that's why you race the races, because right now we kind of have the 2-horse race. It's Red Bull and Ferrari, but then we have Mercedes like always in that third little area, and it's one of those three that's going to finish in the top 3. And this is why we race the races, because at any point there's going to be some sort of luck that goes into it. There's going to be some sort of, hey, somebody crashed, there's a safety car here, this engine failed, and we don't know going into every race how it's going to end up.
Right.
We have favorites, but we don't know by the end of lap 70, like it is at the Canadian Grand Prix, who's going to survive the race. And it's fascinating this season because there's actual competition. There's actually everything going on. And a lot of the reason people hate Lewis is because for 7 years here, we had the Tom Brady, the Tiger Woods effect.
20 seconds ahead of everybody else.
Where one guy is out ahead. And then now we have this situation this entire season where going into every race, we know, okay, Red Bull's going to be in it. If everything goes perfectly, they're going to probably win.
Yeah.
But we don't know because you race the races.
I mean, Lewis and Max, they took each other out at Monza last year, right?
Yeah.
And Daniel Ricciardo won.
It's a fascinating season this year.
It is.
Go ahead.
No, please.
I want to get your thoughts on the old men causing a ruckus on the tracks this year.
Alonso and Hamilton?
So we saw in Monaco, Alonso holding up the entire track.
Yes.
And then this time at the end of the race, we see Vettel.
Oh, yes.
Swerving.
Well, and Alonso got the penalty for swerving.
So Alonso gets the penalty for swerving at the end of the race and blocking. Who did he block behind him?
He blocked Bottas and...
Yeah, it was Bottas directly behind him.
And Zhu as well. So, yeah. I mean, listen... Weaving happens, and sometimes they penalize
purposely.
It. Oh yeah, but sometimes they penalize it, sometimes they don't. Like I think Lance Stroll has been penalized like 4 times already this year for it. Nobody knows because nobody's paying attention to Aston Martin's car. It's terrible. But it was great for me on our STPN grid rival because I have Bottas, I have Verstappen, I've got Hamilton, and I've got Bottas, and so for him to move up, I'm like, yeah.
They hop a couple places.
Yeah.
Do you think we're getting a little Alonso and Vettel? Do you think they're having fun out there, just causing a ruckus?
I think
and pushing the FIA a little.
What I love about Fernando Alonso this year is Alpine has an okay car. It's okay, but in the rain, he comes out and shows why he was such a great driver in his day, why he's a champion. Vettel sometimes will do that too. Occasionally you'll be like, oh, right. Yeah, he's really good at, he's really good strategically. He's really good technically. Alonso knew starting at number 2 on the that he was not going to be able to hold that. They don't have the pace. They just don't. But what I like about him is he's going to fight for everything. And I think people that are weaving, you usually have to weave because your car's slower. Right? You're weaving. If you had the pace, if you had a Ferrari pace, which was Bottas, and you have that, I called him Zhu. I apologize. It's you. They've got those Alfa Romeos are very, very fast cars. They're faster than Alonso. Of course, he's going to weave and try not to let them pass and be defensive about it. I love that. I love when the old guys, Vettel and Alonso especially. Vettel used to be like when he was winning his world championships, people didn't like him. Right? And this is the thing we were talking about Verstappen on the preview, right? Why don't people like Max? Because he's fucking winning. Right. And Lewis too, people didn't like Lewis. Now Lewis was kind of, if you look back at some of the old clips, like him throwing his gloves at Nico Rosberg, and he was probably kind of a dick in his earlier years. But aren't we all in our early 20s?
Sure.
When we're competitive and blah, blah, blah. And then you get older and you get this thing called perspective. Lewis Hamilton clearly has it. He's a leader.
He's a
Alonso.
different guy.
Out of the sport, comes back into the sport. Perspective. Vettel leaves Red Bull for Ferrari, doesn't get a championship that he wants to get. He was a 4-time champion in a row. Does not get the championship. Races, I think, the most races for Ferrari. Him and Raikkonen, so many races for Ferrari. Doesn't get it done. And now he's on a team that's supposed to be growing. He's got, one driver who's the owner's son, really. But Lance Stroll's not a joke. Like he's no joke. He finished 10th.
Pay driver.
Pay driver, but still a pay driver with some respectability.
Yes. They don't get there if they can't drive a car. You know, if you're not an F1 driver.
Yeah, some do. But Lance Stroll can finish high.
We saw a Russian situation up until this.
Yes, yeah. Mazepin was just terrible. But I think it's fun to see that. And I think people love Sebastian now. They love him. Fernando Alonso was not necessarily really well liked when he was winning, but you realize these wily vets and they're fun and they've got perspective and you can tell they're enjoying it rather than being in the fray of I need to prove myself. They've done it. They've proved themselves. I love it.
I because they're my team, because I feel like I am a part of the team. We need to spend a little bit of time on Mercedes. 3-4.
Amazing.
Lewis's first podium of the season.
Amazing finish.
It's not that they've solved any problems. It's that the track there in Montreal, it lend themselves to what Mercedes does well so far, and it's not going at high paces. You know, they kept their top speed. I think it was under 300 kilometers per hour because you can't reach those speeds in Montreal. And those kinds of tracks afford Mercedes this opportunity where both of their cars finished, they look decent, and they got to the podium. And it was a great weekend for them.
Tantalizing, isn't it? Because you see, like, I don't know if you saw in the first 3 laps, you see George Russell pass Kevin Magnussen. And Magnussen has a faster car, but Russell had him. Had him on that corner 1. It was amazing. And I think, you see, it's so tantalizing what Mercedes could be if they could figure out this issue. And it was, did you see, after practice on Friday, did you see Lewis Hamilton's interview?
He said the car was, it was worthless.
Yeah, it was terrible. And here he is on the podium.
He was ready to give up on Friday, and then they come here on Sunday, and he has one of the best drives of his entire season. And it was Magnussen who hit Lewis on the opening the opening turn there, and then his poor guy, his front wing got damaged there just on the tight turn. You know, he has to try and do whatever he can.
Race, though, sucks.
You know, you qualify so high up there, and then you don't. I believe he finished out of the points for.
I have both Haas drivers in my pool as well. So when they qualified 5-6, I'm like, yes. And then I saw the end. It's like DNF and 17th. I'm like,
and the way Grid Rival works is that so they don't get any points because they didn't pass any drivers there.
Oh, it's a joke. I don't understand.
They only
that.
moved down the standings. But for Mercedes, there's a lot of positive to take away from here, but they also still don't know what's wrong with the car.
Right.
Because it's clearly not just the bouncing, because there's a lot of problems there on the straights. They can't get up to the speed, and hopefully there's enough time here at the end of the season where, because it's a long season, 22 races, we're only 9 in, there's some time that they can get back into the constructors here and hopefully have a chance to make it competitive with Ferrari and Red Bull.
Well, and you look at it, it's not that far, right? Red Bull is far, 304. You know, Ferrari's got 228. That's far. But you go Ferrari to Mercedes. Ferrari's that's a 40-point spread. You can wipe that up in a couple weekends.
Yeah.
A couple DNFs from Ferrari.
Yeah, when we've seen those.
And the next closest is, so it goes 304, 228, 188 with Mercedes, and then the next closest is McLaren at 65. It's the 3. And this is the thing, the Mercedes has set such a high bar, Jesse, that them being in 3rd place and within striking distance of 2nd, we're like, man, boy, they got to figure that car out. It sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know who needs to figure out their car? McLaren.
Right.
Mercedes-Benz is an iconic brand. Ferrari is an iconic brand. Red Bull, not a car brand, iconic brand. McLaren, iconic man, iconic team, coming into an iconic supercar, right? I would believe me. If I could buy a McLaren right now, I would. I love their cars. I think they're amazing. But it's not good for sales when McLaren can't finish in the points with Ricciardo and Lando Norris at a certain point. And this is sort of the story that I was most interested in the last couple of weekends.
So for context, McLaren is your team.
McLaren, I'm a supporter. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And if I ever get the chance, if I ever get supercar money, I'm getting a McLaren. I'm telling you this. You know, couple races ago, Zach Brown comes out and says, there are mechanics in Daniel Ricciardo's contract, we could let him go and he could go and we'd pay him out and we'd replace him by the end of the year. If that happened in hockey, by the way, what a shot across the bow that is. And in the last 2 races, he's finished 8th and then he finished 11th. And
that's not good enough.
It's not good enough. But Lando Norris finished behind him in both races.
Yeah.
And I think at a certain point, you have to look at McLaren and go, guys, you finished 3rd 2 years ago, 4th last year, and they should have finished 3rd last year. There's no They fucked up last year. They really did. It was McLaren mistakes that led to them, and Daniel Ricciardo sort of underperforming, that led to them not getting third in the Constructors. McLaren should be third in the Constructors Championship right now. They should be ahead of Mercedes. They should be taking advantage of the fact that Mercedes car, you could see it bouncing up and down the freeway all the way down, and yet here they are. They cannot figure it out. They're down they got Alpine. If Alpine has a good weekend at Silverstone, they're ahead.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
And Alpine has looked very fast.
Oh, yeah.
To their credit.
They're moving.
They have had a very fast car. And there's enough time in the season where you can make a couple more changes here and get your car sorted out. But we're going to run out of time where McLaren's got to look towards next year.
Well, and they're also going to run out of, all these guys, they all have a salary cap, right? They only spend so much on development. So you better spend your money wisely. And I'm fascinated to see what happens. But I just didn't like the fact that McLaren laid it at Daniel Ricciardo's feet. I have a bit of a soft spot, I admit. Who doesn't? And he did underperform last year. But at a certain point, if Lando Norris, who is among the three best new young drivers in the world, we got George Russell, we got Lando Norris, and we got Max Verstappen. He should be pushing those other two. And the fact that they can't get him into a car to do so, Zach Brown said it. If we want to hang on to this guy, we got to give him a car. They haven't given him the car.
Lastly, I just want to get some of your thoughts on the sights and sounds from Montreal.
Okay, let's go.
Because what a weekend it was there. First time back since 2019, and we saw a lot of fun things happen throughout the city. So first, I'm going to pull up this video.
Okay.
Checo.
Oh.
Pre-race.
Okay.
Driving a Zamboni.
Oh, I love that.
There he is. So he tried his first poutine as well.
I love that they get into this locally, right?
Right?
F1 does a great job of community outreach. That's fun.
PK Subban was with all of the drivers doing some media while Checo tried his poutine there.
Yeah, Subban had a good weekend. I have some friends that went, and they were happened to be at all the parties that he was at, and Subban had a good time.
He was,
and good for him.
He was out and about.
Oh, he was out and about. And
okay.
What would you expect him to do? Sit in his hotel room? It's PK
true.
Subban.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's PK. There was a lot of spottings of drivers around Montreal. There was Lewis going for a jog. So he does a daily jog. I think it's every single morning because people are always spotting him out in Montreal, out before the races, wherever the race is happening, and people caught him in Montreal. And then lastly, I think the most important social media video come out of the weekend. Pierre Gasly wearing a Ferrari hat while in Leclerc's car.
Oh,
I don't imagine Gasly's bosses are very happy with him right now, but he threw it on for the Instagram story of Charles Leclerc. Very
well,
funny.
That's very funny. That is, I love that, and I like all the liked by Pierre Gasly memes out there. I love that. And lastly, I'm surprised you don't have this. I don't know did you know about the bet, the Lewis Hamilton bet with his assistant?
Yes,
who's out she's always there with him all the time.
She was on that run with him.
That's right.
Yeah.
So they do everything together, and she does those media, PR, all that stuff, and basically. Before the race, she said, listen, because the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve is on an island, so if you get on the podium, I'll jump in the water. He got on the podium. Are you able to find it?
I've got it right here. I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
Yeah, Angela, his assistant.
She's the best, by the way. She's the bomb.
Oh, gosh, I got to get the link.
And their friendship is goals. That's the kind of friendship you want, right? They are looking after each other.
Yeah, it's the cutest. It's the cutest.
And
friendship.
So he gets to push her in the water afterwards.
So right now on the screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's gonna loop here. Lewis Hamilton pushing Angie into the water. What is this? The water called?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like a very famous
lake,
I think.
Yeah, I should know. Andrew Berkshire is going to kill me for that, but I should know, but I don't. I don't know my geography well enough. I need to spend more time in Montreal.
It looked like, just because I was glued to TikTok and watching all the videos come out of the weekend, it looked like so much fun.
It is fun.
Everybody
I went in
had a
16,
blast.
and it is. I haven't been back since, and obviously it hasn't been back since 19. But it's fun. It's beautiful, and what I love about Quebec is that you can literally walk into a park and they give you these it was like Coors Light or Molson Canadian or whatever. They give you these backpacks and you can carry 24 beers in them, and everybody has them, and they just walk them in and everybody brings all their beer and no one cares. I'm like, this is a different country. This is crazy. You wouldn't be allowed in Toronto. It's like, well, you got to get your ticket. from the ticket booth, and then you got to take it over to the thing, who will then give you another ticket to get you one beer. But that's all. One beer. That's all you're allowed to have. Whereas Quebecers are like, no, fuck it, we're drinking. It's a great experience. We should go. We should rent an Airbnb, and then you just kind of walk around Montreal, see all the supercars, party like crazy, and then enjoy it.
The supercars were a sight to behold.
Everybody brings
the LaFerraris that were out. It was at the old Mercedes that people were driving. Like, I think somebody spotted Toto in his like classic Mercedes. Of
course.
Just it's awesome.
They have like, if you drive for like McLaren or Mercedes or Ferrari or whatever, they have whatever you want for you waiting in every country you're in. Mm-hmm. It's cool. And next week, it's Lewis Hamilton's home race. It's Lando Norris's home race. It's McLaren's home race. It's Aston Martin's home race. It's going to be exciting.
Silverstone.
Yes.
All right. So that's going to wrap it up for us here today. Thank you, Adam Moth, for doing this. I know I'm forcing you to do extra things beyond the shows that you normally do. So I appreciate it. I'll be back later this week with a special guest on. We're going to be doing a little Stanley Cup final talk. It's very special guest because they are a big fan of one of the teams.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited for that.
Later this week. Thank you again. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here right now listening or watching us talk about silly F1 weekend in Montreal.
And that is how it's done.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake, powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Jesse Blake, the guy that likes to hear his name twice in one sentence. Sure, I know him. No, he doesn't have an ego at all.